Welcome to AI Speed, the show where AI-powered companies talk about what actually works in the market right now. Business doesn't move at internet speed anymore. It moves at AI speed. And the people who figure it out how to turn models into money will own the next decade. I'm Evan J. Cholfin, founder of Luxhammer and growth partner to high-performing brands. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Paresh Ashara, VP of Data Analytics, AI, and Automation at Quint Financial Technologies. Paresh is working at the forefront of applying AI in financial services, helping institutions move from data to decisions through automation, analytics, and the shift towards vertical AI. His role sits directly at the intersection of strategy and execution, making sure AI actually delivers results inside complex organizations. Paresh, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Evan. It's my pleasure joining this podcast.
So you've built a career around data analytics and AI and financial services. What drew you specifically into the space and what made you focus on applying AI at the operational level?
Certainly. If you look at, I actually have been in the IT services industry for almost past 27 years now. And all throughout, it's been working with financial services companies. And what I have seen over these years is the financial services industry is the most regulated industry. When it comes to technology adoption, they are the first one to try out new tools and technologies as well. So they are risk takers in terms of technology adoption. But at the same time, they try to create a balance with respect to what the regulatory compliance needs are in terms of ensuring that it is balanced in terms of all the decisions that they take. So gradually, if you see the past, and especially over the past 3 years since the launch of AI tools and technologies around, it has actually given a new meaning to the financial services industry and not just financial services industry per se, but across industries also. There are specific use cases which the companies have identified where it can play a significant role. With that kind of focus, most of these financial institutions have started at least exploring what it means and how they could leverage this as a part of their day-to-day operations and the business decisions that they make. What I have seen is there is an interest from the banks and other financial institutions in terms of exploring this AI tools. But going it beyond the exploratory stage, it does take some more effort and decisioning from the top leadership to adopt and put it into production. There are ways in which this could be implemented and managed to an extent. But again, there are, in terms of what they look at as a value add with respect to their business functions is what going to decide the fate of all the exploratory work that they do in the AI space. So that's where I see the traction will have to take place going forward, where the decisions are done by the business owners. They have to take active role in determining the fate of their AI initiatives. And unless they see that there is a real ROI is coming in, they would be reluctant to put this into production.
Absolutely. So from your position leading data and AI initiatives, what makes Quint's approach unique and how it actually gets AI deployed inside financial institutions?
Right. So we work with financial institutions. Our focus is in providing automation opportunities to all our clients where we have operational services engagement. Now, let's say, for example, we primarily have support service engagements with most of the banks and credit unions in the US, where we help them in their contact center processes, in the loan servicing, mortgage validation, documentation support, KYC related dispute management processes, all these various processes where we have human agents, human analysts who are actually looking into these activities, leveraging standard operating procedures and ensuring that all the business processes that requires a certain kind of check checks and balances, QC or quality checks to be done on the outcomes of individual loan decisions, etc., are followed through. Now, if you look at most of these activities are manual in nature, and probably it may involve shuffling between different core applications within the bank or other satellite applications. Now, imagine if you could determine a pattern in which some of these activities could be automated leveraging AI. So that's where we are looking at building automated solutions. And as a part of one of the process areas that we have narrowed down to, we have built a platform called QI Desk, which helps banks orchestrate their contact center process through the omnichannel support. And here is where the email channel, the chat channel, and the voice channel can be automated leveraging GenAI capabilities. Now, as we all know, GenAI has evolved over the past 3 years, and especially in the past 6 months, a lot more capabilities have been added into GenAI models like the OpenAI's ChatGPT, the Anthropic's Claude, and Google's Gemini. So now these models are also moving towards multimodal capabilities where they are able to look at different types of media and data as such. It could be a structured, it could be images, it could be unstructured data. All these capabilities are now available within these GenAI models. So we are leveraging these capabilities where some of this process-related nuances could be looked into and automated so that the human agents who are working on these processes can be freed up to an extent where they can put that effort towards a more higher value-added kind of activities rather than the mundane activities of shifting through lots of documents and determining whether a particular value exists between the two systems or not, just by manually looking and navigating to the individual fields and validating those data points. So that is where we are trying to address the pain points and provide the enhanced capabilities of LLMs and agentic AI frameworks, which can help automate this process to an extent and drive some of the productivity and efficiency gains for the financial institutions.
That's great. From what you're seeing day to day, what do you think the core problems are for the financial institutions that are struggling with right now when it comes to data AI?
Right. No, certainly. See, if you look at the entire genesis of leveraging AI, depends on the quality of the data that you have within your organization. And typically, what we see is in their core banking systems and other satellite systems, the quality of data that is captured is not up to the mark. And when it gets into their centralized data store, which could be a data warehouse or a data lake that they have set up, where most of these advanced analytics and machine learning kind of needs come into picture, it becomes a little challenging in terms of achieving the end objective. So, so having good quality data which can help you build your models around, which can help you then take more informed decisions, is what is lacking in most of the organizations. Until such time, the financial institutions put that effort in ensuring that they have good quality data in their core systems, which is the customer onboarding systems or their loan origination systems, the loan management systems, the loan servicing systems, the credit underwriting process related satellite systems. All these systems, they need to have good quality data, which can then be used to create this models which can then help them predict the future outcomes, and basis which they can take decisions in terms of their businesses as such.
So in your role, where are you personally spending most of your time right now?
Right. So as of now, as I said, the complete focus is on providing and creating this the solution that we have and helping our clients understand where it would make sense for them to implement and try out the solutions so that they are able to do a lot more with what they already have rather than linearly increasing the headcount as the volumes grow. Probably that may not be a scalable model here going forward. So we are trying to address that particular pain point where we help our customers deliver more with less or whatever they already have. So, and also not just one point solution. So, as I mentioned, in terms of the platform QI desk that we have built and we are launching it next week. We, as a part of that solution, considering that it is an LLM based model platform, it has capabilities where we could deliver lot more use cases. So the other use case that we are actively looking at and which we have also developed some capabilities is how you make your documents discoverable within the organization, right? Because typically, as I mentioned, the financial institutions and especially banking is a highly regulated industry. As a part of account opening or loan borrowing process, there are a lot of documents that are exchanged between the borrower and the bank. So, in a typical mortgage application, for example, you might have anywhere from 15 to 20 documents just for one application to start with. Right. So imagine thousands of such loan mortgage applications and then the corresponding number of documents that the banks and the credit unions they have in their document management system. And obviously, as I said, they are regulated entities. So every 6 months, OCC comes for a compliance check, right? So they would look at okay, show me a mortgage application which has actually been complied as per the Fairness Act. So they have to pull out individual applications and then show it to the auditor, saying that here is the loan application. These are the various attributes around the application, and these are the criteria on which the decision of underwriting was taken, and the loan application either rejected or approved. Right. So they have to justify this. There has to be a traceability of this justification of whether a particular loan application, how was it reviewed, what was the end outcome, whether it was approved or rejected. Right. And if approved, on what criteria, on what basis it was approved, and if rejected, on what basis it was rejected. Right. So on the Fairness Act related aspects, banks have to have this kind of traceability made available to the compliance officers. So imagine going through 5 such instances, you would manually shift through all these documents and individually narrate down to where that information is and then retrieve it. So this can be completely automated by leveraging the Gen AI tools now. So we have built on our QI desk, we have a solution which can actually help you make your documents discoverable just by writing a plain English language query. So all these documents are ingested within our solution, and the analyst who is supporting the compliance officer can then just run a simple English query saying that show me the loan application. And probably they might have identified specific mortgage applications which are representative of the scenarios. So maybe they will already have the mortgage application number, or they have the name of the borrower with them, and with maybe an address information. So using that query, they can easily retrieve the very specific application case and the related document. The platform has capabilities which can actually retrieve the right document. This is the query as well. And it can also has capabilities that it can summarize the overall query outcome as well. So which can then be used to support all the necessary inputs that the compliance officer would want them to capture as well. And then additional inputs could be with respect to also for as a day-to-day operations need. They could also look at what are the various covenants that they have covered as a part of their general mortgage applications or the mortgage agreements that they already have in effect. On the commercial banking side, it could be again related to validating doing a few things, right? As a part of, in fact, I was recently having one prospective discussions with one of our existing clients where they were looking at is there an opportunity for them to automate the process of current process of validating all the documents that they receive from their commercial customers. So commercial customers are typically the organizations, right? So as a part of their loan applications, imagine, because they would have a lot more documents compared to a retail loan. Right, so or a consumer loan where it is a mortgage application will have a set of documents compared to the commercial loan, which is a term loan might have a different set of documents altogether. So application form plus supporting documents. So how do I automate validating this entire application form to see whether I have all the relevant information provided by the commercial client or the organization who is applying for the loan? Because the application forms are slightly lengthier compared to the mortgage loan applications. So how do I automate this process? So Gen AI capabilities can actually deliver that kind of use cases as well, where it can actually help you validate and identify what information is missing, and at the same time draft a response to the customer asking for the missing information as well, which otherwise the human loan analyst would have to do it manually at their end. And then imagine the effort and the time that goes into analyzing all this information and then drafting a response. So you are talking of maybe days in this case, because you have a huge set of documents that you have to review. At the same time, the application information that has been provided. And with Gen AI capabilities, all this can be ingested and a draft can be made ready within minutes compared to days. So that's where we see a lot more effort will go in for the banks and the credit unions to take up such processes where they can move the needle in terms of the return of investments from the AI implementations. And that's where my focus area is. And I think it will continue, at least for the foreseeable future, where it becomes, the AI becomes pervasive in all that we do.
Yeah, that'll save a lot of time for sure for organizations. So what do you see is going to be the biggest challenge for you personally in driving AI adoption, especially inside large risk sensitive financial organizations?
Right. Certainly. So there are, as I mentioned earlier, I would say about three different areas, right? So first thing is in terms of having clean data. Because unless all these systems has data which is complete and standardized to an extent with all the relevant metadata information as well. So metadata is nothing but it is the data about data, because you will need that for your AI systems to learn as to what a particular attribute means when a business user says so. Right. So there has to be a data about data as well. So all this is necessary when you are looking at implementing an AI solution. So data, good quality of data, and creating some kind of centralized store where you could get a 360-degree view about your customers. Right. Because that's where you'll be able to create some form of semantic view of your customers so that you could leverage that particular view to understand your customer better and then deliver some form of personalized messaging or cross-sell opportunities which can give you more business from the same customer. The second area is related to how do you take care and manage your risk, because at the end of the day, when you are looking at leveraging AI, obviously there are a set of behind the scenes models which are actually executing and providing that output to you. So how well you are able to explain this end outcome or the output of this AI models, how your processes have been documented in terms of what kind of data is getting inside the model, and basis that how the model is taking decision, and basis that what do you see as an output, and on what basis are you relying on that output to take your business decisions, right? So having that entire risk management aspect and the trust factor around the model output is what is necessary. And that is, again, a challenging area, because most of these models today do not have that transparency built in already. So you will need to have additional work carved out for those requirements, so that you are able to completely document how the model behaves when it says so. And the third area is more in terms of the change management and operations process within the financial institutions, because of late people are worried, and then in the sense that AI is actually going to take away their jobs. But believe me, with whatever we have experimented and the solutions that we have delivered leveraging AI, it is not there yet to the extent it is being made out to be. The more pronounced approach should be in terms of how do I use AI as a co-pilot to improve and substantiate my work capabilities, rather than being looked at as a replacement. So the change management to adopting such AI solutions within the organization is another factor which is actually impeding some of the adoption related decisions within the financial institutions.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm curious, what trends are you seeing right now that feel real versus hype?
Certainly. So, I mean, as I mentioned earlier as well, right? So, AI is there, and it is actually becoming real and real, right? But then there are use cases where it has good adoption rate, where it is able to deliver more bang for the buck. And then there are certain cases where it is not up to the mark. So obviously, if you ask me from the financial institutions perspective, typically, the setup is you have a front office, you have a middle office, you have a back office. Front office, obviously, the institutions are little reluctant in terms of bringing in AI and exposing it to their end customers 100%. But then there are few functions, like I mentioned about contact center, where some of these interactions can be done leveraging AI. But again, when you talk about customer journeys for onboarding new customers, etc. There are opportunities available today which can help you automate your processes leveraging AI. On the middle office side, where it is more from risk management, underwriting related decisions, etc., there is a lot that has been done. If you ask me, even before Gen AI capabilities, the pure machine learning based models have been in existence, which takes the underwriting decisions of loan approvals and determining the credit worthiness of the borrowers, and then accordingly, the banks take those decisions of whether the loan should be approved or rejected. But with Gen AI, I see there is more that can be done on, rather than only limiting it to predicting the credit worthiness of the borrower. The entire summary of the underwriting process can be documented as well, which can be used as a proof or a credit memo for the audit purposes, where it is clearly it can clearly a particular underwriting decision has been taken. So it can automate that part of document creation. So that's the area where I see within the middle office of the banks and credit unions, a lot of this work can be automated and is ready for adoption. On the back office side, as I mentioned, which is where our sweet sport is as well, where we provide back office supported from the contact center perspective, the loan servicing, the mortgage applications servicing, the account opening related documentation checks, the quality check processes. All these processes can be automated to an extent where AI can bring in the capabilities of analyzing these documents, identifying what is missing, what needs to be there. And also at the same time, on the fraud side of things, it can actually identify some of these frauds and also create a case around what has happened on that particular fraud case. And it can also create a response which is compliant as per the regulatory requirements. So all these various processes are ripe for AI adoption, in my view. And I see a lot of focus from the banks, credit unions here in US moving towards that. So in terms of ranking, if you ask me, I would say back office followed by middle office and then the front office. Because front office, as I said, is has a high touch point with the customer. So instead of directly exposing it to the customers, the banks can find a middle path where they can actually help their relationship managers to use AI output, which can then be used to have conversations with the end customers, so that they are more productive in their discussions and can do a lot more in terms of the business growth as well.
Now, that's fantastic. So, if we were to have this conversation again in 12 months, what would need to happen for you to feel like it was a big win?
Certainly, I would say probably I would like to see the platforms that we are launching having a wider adoption and implementation. So I would like to see all my current clients adopting that particular platform where they see value for their spend. And also, I mean, just doing grazing through the crystal ball. Maybe in 12 months, AI will have additional capabilities, and rather the Gen AI based tools, technologies will have additional capabilities where it would so happen that the current core systems and the other satellite systems that the financial institutions use will have more embedded and pervasive AI capabilities rather than being an add-on or a supplementary function to it. So it will be more pervasive, I would say, and all decisions will be based out of the data that the financial institutions capture. So it is going to become more real time rather than say, okay, I have received the application, give me a day's time, and then I'll get back to you. So rather, I would say that in 12 months' time, you will have most of this processes where the decisions will actually happen in real time and without any human intervention as such.
Wow. Well, that's it for today's episode of AI Speed. A huge thank you to Paresh for sharing his invaluable insights into how Quint Financial Technologies is helping financial institutions turn AI into real operational impact, and for navigating the shift towards vertical AI. If you're building or leading an AI native company or a service business that uses AI under the hood, and you care about revenue, adoption, and market share, make sure to subscribe to AI Speed. Learn how the best AI operators ship faster, sell smarter, and stay ahead. Thanks for listening. Until next time, keep building, keep selling, and keep moving at AI speed.